Hi, this is Rebecca from ChemKnits, and with allfryknitting.com, today we're going to talk about dip dyeing yarn in the microwave to create a multicolor gradient using food coloring. So I'm starting off by just dipping my, pre-soaking my skein of 100% wool yarn in just some standard tap water. And the components that we are going to use today are, we've got 2 microwave safe Pyrex containers that each contain 1 cup of water. And these will be the 2 dye baths that we use for the 2 colors that I'm going to use in this dip dyeing tutorial. To each cup of water, I'm going to add a tablespoon of white vinegar. The proportions don't need to be exact. This is just a proportion that is easy to remember and use. One of the components that you need to successfully dye yarn, you need to have acid, you need to have color, which we'll use in the form of food coloring. You need to have wool, which we have over there, pre-soaking, and we need heat, and for that we will be using our microwave. So I think that in 1 dye bath, I'm going to start with 2 drops, maybe I'll add a 3rd drop of blue. I'm going for a lighter shade. The more dye you add, the darker you can make your yarn. So that's blue, and I'm going to put 2 drops of red into the 2nd dye bath and try to get a pink. So which, of course it looks pretty red right now, but hopefully, we will get the desired pinky color. And then when these overlap, hopefully we'll get purple. I'm going to take the wool that's done pre-soaking and lightly wring it out. So I'm going to stick about 2/3 of the yarn into the red dye bath using a fork to help me. I'm only wearing gloves to protect, help keep my fingers from turning purple. So you want to protect any surface that you work on because drops of food coloring can dye other things. So I put all the yarn in, except I'm leaving 1/3 of the yarn outside of the red color. So now I'm going to go over to the microwave. Looks like my dye has a ponytail. And you can see I have a plate in the microwave. I mean, my microwave tray has a plate in itself, but just for, I guess, cleanliness sake, I have this microwave safe plate because when we dip into the other color, some of this that has been dyed will be resting on the plate, and I want to try to prevent any drops and just keep things clean. So I'm now going to set my microwave for, I guess I shut the door. I'm going to microwave this on high for 2 minutes, and I will be back when this is done. Okay, so after 2 minutes in the microwave, this Pyrex container is pretty hot, so I'm going to leave it here to cool for a bit. And then once it's cooled and more of the dye has absorbed to the yarn, then I will switch out the dye bath and we will dip the other half of the yarn into the blue dye. I have taken the yarn and dye bath out of the microwave, and I want to show you another reason why I use a plate, and that is a lot of water has wicked out, and also just from, not really sure what, but there's a lot of water that has wicked out onto the plate. So you can see almost all of the dye is out of this first dye bath. I'm going to gently wring out the pink yarn. So now we've got a 2-color skein of yarn where we've got about 2/3 pink and 1/3 white. And I'm going to take the blue bath and dip the part of the yarn that is white, then about half of the pink yarn into the blue dye bath. And you can already see that if this works properly, that we could have some purple in the overlap. And so I'm going to take the whole thing over to the microwave, and I'm going to microwave this on high for 2 minutes. Alright, so this yarn had microwaved on high for 2 minutes, and most of the blue color is gone from the back. And so again, lightly bringing it out, I can bring over to show you our 3 colored skein. So we have, I'll hold it this way, we have blue and pink on the ends, and in the middle we have this deep, it's a very bluish, almost gray purple color in the center. And so now we're going to wash it off in the sink here. I've got some lukewarm water, and put it in the water with a tiny bit of dish soap, and we will rinse it in this water until the water runs clear and no more dye comes out of the yarn. So there we have it, our beautiful 3-colored skein, which we created by dyeing the yarn in the microwave with food coloring. I'm Rebecca from ChemKnits, and this video was brought to you by allfreeknitting.com.